I want to show you a live look in Milwaukee. Republicans from across the country will be here tonight for their national convention. The convention will start as planned 2 days after that gunman tried to kill former President Trump at the rally in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, one of the Republicans who will be in attendance for that convention is U.S. Representative Bill Huizenga.
Huizenga represents the 4th District of Michigan, which is a big portion of West Michigan. He joins us now. Good morning, Representative.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
How has the tone changed going into this convention?
Well, I think we can talk about what is happening and hopefully what is going to happen. And I hope what is going to happen is that the rhetoric gets toned down, turn down the heat. Certainly, it looks like indications. There was a Washington Examiner story last evening that President Trump has said he's torn up his speech, or his anticipated speech, and he is going to be much more sort of conciliatory, and I think trying to be unifying, which I think would be a good move on his part. Certainly you've got the practical, physical side of things, right? What is the physical space going to look like? I can guarantee you this: they have widened that security corridor and the fenced-in area. Hopefully there is a new look upon how all the security is being done for all of the candidates, and frankly, for me personally, I think RFK should have it. This is a family that has been stung by this tragedy multiple times, and the way that people are acting out and misacting, frankly, and using their aggression that way, we can't be too careful. So, part of the problem is that people have lost confidence in some of those federal agencies, and that's not a good thing.
Representative, in President Biden's address to the nation last night, he talked about how we need to solve our issues at the ballot box, not with bullets. How does that resonate with you as you head into the RNC?
Well, obviously, I agree with that. My very good friend Steve Scalise was nearly killed on a baseball practice field because of a gunman who took heated rhetoric and ended up applying it. Gabby Giffords, former colleague, just as I had gotten sworn in, was shot at a town hall. These are tragedies that should not happen. It is the responsibility, I think, of those that are running up for office and in office, but also the electorate, to not give a positive feedback loop on that kind of rhetoric. We've all got to step up and act in a civil way. And this is the history of our United States is very different than a lot of countries where we have always had peaceful transitions of power. We cannot put that in jeopardy.
What are you hearing from your Republican colleagues who will be at the convention this week about what they hope to hear on stage?
Yeah, I was expecting and still would expect that we're going to see what does the next 4 years look like. We've had 4 years of Donald Trump, and no, by the way, democracy did not end. We had 4 years of Joe Biden, and it's time to compare and contrast those two records. Economically, foreign policy, domestic policy, tax reform, the things that have been going on. So I'm hoping that that's the measuring stick that people are going to be using. We've got to be talking about important issues like the border, for example. That can't go away. The question is for the American people. They've seen 4 years of Donald Trump and his administration, 4 years of Joe Biden, and which America would they rather live in economically and security and those kinds of things. So I think that that contrast alone will be enough to push Michigan into Donald Trump's campaign.
Okay, Representative Huizenga, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Safe travels to you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.